Monday Night Raw at the Mecca of professional wrestling? Let's get into it. Monday Night Raw came from the historic venue of Madison Square Garden last night, folks, and overall, it was a pretty good show. Starting off with a good back and forth match between main event Jey Uso and Grayson Waller. We knew what we were getting with these two. They both know how to work a decent match and get the crowd pumping for what was going to come later in the show. Obviously, we knew that Gunther was going to make an appearance, to which he did. He sunk in a rear naked choke onto Jey Uso, and Jey Uso went night-night. But overall, the first match to open up wasn't bad. I wouldn't exactly be like, oh my god, this is a great match, because it was back and forth, and it was like, yeah, okay, not too bad, but you knew what you were getting just to start the show. This is basically just to push Jey Uso and Gunther going into WrestleMania 41 as a more than, is he going to beat Gunther or not? At this moment in time, it's almost like they're making Jey Uso kind of get beaten up a lot by Gunther. During the WrestleMania match, Gunther is going to lose. That's what I'm thinking of at this moment. After the promo package, we had Logan Paul come on out, grab a microphone, and he tried pleading his soul for The Rock to take. Now, if you actually know the history of Logan Paul, The Rock actually parted ways from being anything associated with Logan Paul back in late 2017, early 2018, because of the whole horrible thing that Logan Paul did when he was visiting Japan. That's why he's not allowed back over there, hence why he's always missing from WWE tours over there. But obviously the boos were so loud, he couldn't really get his words out. The only time that the crowd hushed a little bit is when Logan Paul told Andrew Schultz, the comedian, that he could have a mic and he could say something. Obviously coming on out, he was like, yeah, this is New York, buddy, it's not Ohio. People here come to see real professional wrestlers. I thought that was actually a good little dig, but obviously it was all planned, because then Logan Paul attacked Schultz, dragging him over the barricade, dragging him into the ring, and he was getting him ready for his polarizer, I don't know, whatever he's called that new move of his. But AJ Styles' music hit. Obviously, Styles came out, beat up Logan Paul, and Logan Paul just started scuttling back to the locker room. Obviously, AJ got on the mic and he said, come on, what are you doing? Come back. And we just know this is going to be the match between those two now at WrestleMania. We're going to see it back and forth over the next couple of weeks. Trading barbs. More than likely, we are going to see Logan Paul attack AJ Styles. More than likely, like sneak attack on SmackDown. That wouldn't surprise me. Next on the card was the match between the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against the New Day. This was a tornado tag with no rules, so obviously you know that they were going to try and get a table involved because of what happened over the last couple of weeks, and boy did they get a table involved. The match overall was exactly as you would expect from these four people. Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Kofi and Woods. These guys, when they're in the ring together, they just put on spectacular match after spectacular match. And they're all high flyers, which is always good to see. Then we had a bit of a surprise. We had America Made, obviously, and it was Chad Gable, which we all know. Chad Gable in a luchador mask. He came in, he attacked Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and Kofi and Woods got the win. Then later in the program, we actually saw Kathy Kelly in the back speaking with Chad Gable, who said, it wasn't me, and then he moved out of the way and it showed security escorting a man dressed exactly the same with the luchador mask on out of the building. And Chad Gable's like, hi, it wasn't me. Which, again, going forward, we can see that this is setting up more than likely Rey Mysterio against Chad Gable at Mania, which again, I'm all for, because that is going to be one hell of a match. You got Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest luchadors ever, going against Chad Gable, who in my eyes, on the entire roster, is possibly the greatest wrestler they got at this moment in time. He is the Kurt Angle for this generation. Then came the part that I was looking forward to the most from this, and that is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes came down to the ring with a bit more pep in his step than he did last week, and obviously the crowd is going absolutely nuts, which is incredible to see. When he got in the ring, he came out with his patented So what do you want to talk about? Obviously the crowd started chanting CM Punk, but then he just goes, nope, I'm going to start talking about John Cena. And this is the time when obviously he brought up Cena, boos, brought out The Rock, boos, but then Cody Rhodes mentioned Travis Scott. And the entire arena, it just went 4 or 5 decibels louder with the boos, which is absolutely incredible, because I think we've all seen the video of Travis Scott giving the slap to Cody Rhodes, which for some unknown reason Travis Scott thought it was a good idea just to try and get a full swing in on him. But obviously the Rhodes unleashed his promo on John Cena, and going from when he tore his pec at Madison Square Garden to when he won the US title at WrestleMania 20 back in the Garden, and Rhodes literally just went off on one, and it was a very, very solid and good promo. After that explosive promo by Rhodes, we then had the #1 contenders match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which is going to be defended next week by Lara Valkyria. And the match kind of went exactly how we thought it was going to go. Bayley against Raquel, and obviously Liv and Dom had to get involved somehow, so Raquel is the one who won, and she's now going to face Lara next week, which I think is going to be a good match, I really do. But overall though, Bayley is the type of wrestler who can make anyone look good in the squared circle. She really is. But obviously, overall though, it was a pretty lackluster match, and it was pretty much over, not a squash, but they kind of made Raquel's size come into play, I'm going to dominate Bayley, which she didn't really, but with the help from Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom, she now moves on. We then had Michael Cole jump into the ring to do an interview with new Raw Women's Champion Io Sky, which we all knew what was going to happen. Bianca Belair came out and Cole was going to conduct an interview between the two, but as soon as Belair started talking, obviously This Is My Brutality started screaming through the speakers, and to be honest with you, I'm all for it. I absolutely love Rhea Ripley. And again, no, just seeing her come on out and she was banging the microphone saying, cut my music, cut my music. And then it basically just turned into a South Park episode of WTF. It really did. I found it hilarious. But you could just see there, Bianca and Rhea, they are fighting. They're slapping each other. They keep pushing Io Sky to the ground as well. And I think Io just had enough of it because she jumped up, slapped them both, and stormed out. I think we can safely say that WrestleMania 41, it will be a triple threat between Io Sky, Rhea Bloody Ripley, and good old Bianca Belair. Next up, guys, was the Steel Cage main event, which, before it even started, everyone knew exactly what they were going to get, and that was going to be a great match. These two wrestlers, Punk and Seth, they have the ability to, when they get in the ring with each other, it's almost like they just sing together, and it's brilliant. Like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, or Stone Cold and The Rock. They knew each other, and they know how to put on a great match. But it started off a little bit different than I thought it was. I thought we were going to get, turnbuckle power bombs. We were going to get people ramming into the side of the cage, jumping off the top. But then I remembered CM Punk can't exactly do a lot of the stuff that he used to. And with that, it kind of started out as a brawl for the first 5 or so minutes. But then the always impressive powerbomb into the steel cage happened, from Rollins giving it to Punk, and it kind of went from there to each other doing each other's finishes, multiples of them, multiple near fall counts. But then something happened that I was a bit like, okay, this is something that we haven't seen for a while, especially in a steel cage. And that was a superplex off the top of it. And you could tell this winded both of them. But overall, coming towards the end of the match, obviously we had the cheese grating along the side of the cage for each other's faces, the cage being rammed into them. Then they kept offering the door to each other, saying, oh, you can go, no, you can go. But then one thing came out of it, and that was Seth doing a curb stomp from the top rope. Obviously, with that, everyone's like, that's it, he's won. Obviously, it was a near pin count. But then Rollins just kind of leaned back against the ropes by the door. And all of a sudden, 2 arms grab Seth, pulls him out of the cage, technically making Seth the winner. and it was none other than the Tribal Chief. Seth got absolutely manhandled by Roman Reigns. Yeah, a couple of spears, a couple of Superman punches, and you could just see that Roman was like, I'm going to just take it out now, and that is it. But they stopped him. As you can see by here, we do have the referees, we had a couple of the backstage personnel and producers coming out saying, no, don't do this, because Roman was going to curb stomp him into the steps. But then, as you can see by here, he's looking into the ring where Paul Heyman is consoling CM Punk. And what happened from there? Well, Roman Reigns enters the cage and beats the living hell out of Punk. Paul Heyman can do nothing but look on, and, he's just there like, my Tribal Chief. And that was it. That's when Raw went off the air. Overall, it was a very good and entertaining Monday Night Raw show. But obviously, there's a few things here which is making it just like, alright, we're going to do the ABCs, we got to get this mark down, because it is the road to WrestleMania. Overall, I do give Raw 8.5 out of 10 count, and I can see it only heating up even more on the way to WrestleMania 41. That's all we got, folks. I'll see you soon.